Welcome, everyone. My name is Captain Gilbert Rose, U.S. Public Health Service, Drug-Free Communities Project Officer for the great states of Kentucky and Colorado. Welcome to SAMHSA's 8th Annual Prevention Day at CADCA's 22nd National Leadership Forum. At this time, I invite you to stand for the presentation of the colors and our national anthem, and to remain standing until the colors are retired. Honor cadre, advance the colors. Honor cadre, retire the colors. Thank you. Please take your seats. I want to thank the officers of the Surgeon General's Honor Cadre that are with us today, and they are Commander Kofi Ansah, Lieutenant Commander Mark McKinnon, and Lieutenant Commander Ken Monahan. Please thank them. All right. Well, at this time, it gives me privilege and honor to bring Ms. Fran Harding, our director for SAMHSA's Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, up to the podium.
Good morning. Come on, you can do better than that. Good morning. So welcome to Prevention Day once more. As you're all file in, it gives me a couple of minutes to ask Mirtha Beadle to come up to the podium. Mirtha, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a new face to the prevention crowd. Her name is Mirtha Beadle. Mirtha Beadle came from the Health and Human Services Office, where she was the Deputy Administrator for Operations. I promised her that this would be more personal than biographical, so to honor that, Mirtha is now SAMHSA's Deputy Administrator for Operations. She's been with us such a short time, but it already has become part of the fabric of SAMHSA. She's proven to us that she's extremely resilient. She has a lot of experience in the work that we do. She has HIV/AIDS experience, working with tribal communities, working with grants, working in trauma, and has great passion already for the field of prevention. So I won't take up any of her time. Welcome with me, Mirtha Beadle, for the first time in front of the prevention community. Right.
Good morning. Now, I want the same good morning that Fran got. Good morning. Oh, warms my heart. Thank you so much. Well, as Fran said, I'm Mirtha Beadle. I'm the new Deputy for Operations at SAMHSA, and it is such a pleasure to be here with you today. I want to extend to you a very warm and heartfelt welcome from Pamela Hyde, who's the Administrator of SAMHSA, to your 8th Prevention Day. Administrator Hyde regrets that she could not be here with you today, but I can tell you that she is thinking of you and hoping you have a wonderful and very productive day. I can assure you that her inability to be here does not take away from the importance of prevention. It is still SAMHSA's #1 strategic initiative. Let me share just a little bit about my journey here. As Fran said, I'm the new kid on the block, and I like that. Somehow it sounds young, so it helps me feel a little bit better. But I joined SAMHSA's leadership team about 5 months ago from the Office of Minority Health and the Office of the Secretary, and I can't tell you how pleased I am to be here with you today. I've observed in my short tenure the dedication, the commitment of our staff, really focused on communities and people in need. SAMHSA is committed to a comprehensive approach to achieve health equity in behavioral health services for all our citizens. I have to tell you that as we continue to prepare for full implementation of health reform, SAMHSA recognizes that our states, our communities, and tribes collectively are integral to preparing the nation and assuring that there is a vital infusion and support for integrating behavioral health into primary care services. I want to thank Director Harding and her team for a wonderful event. And I also want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Your talents, your expertise, and your collaborations are bar none. I wish you all a fruitful day of learning, networking, and sharing. But now, I have the distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you a very special group of young people. Currently in its 30th year, Ellington's dance department has performed in venues both nationally and internationally. Whether at home or in D.C., in countries such as Bermuda, Canada, or Russia, they have had the honor to perform and participate as guest artists at a variety of events. The Ellington dancers also have extended their talents to community outreach and professional organizations. Collaborative endeavors include Ballet on Wheels with United Cerebral Palsy Foundation, Ronald McDonald's House for Children, Martin Luther King's Vision of the Future, and the Washington National Cathedral. Professional dance company master classes include Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, Jeffrey Ballet II of Chicago, the Kirov, and the American Ballet Theater. Please join me in giving a very heartfelt and warm welcome to the Duke Ellington School of Arts Dance Ensemble. Thank you so very much.
Sometimes I feel, sometimes I feel like a mother, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. like a motherless
Sometimes I feel like a
child. Sometimes
I feel. Sometimes I feel
like a
Sometimes I feel
motherless
like a motherless child.
A long way from a home.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a long way from. Sometimes I feel like
I feel
a long way
like a motherless child.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
Oh, sometimes
I feel.
Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Telling you sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Well, sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. And I'm a long way from a home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone.
Sometimes I feel like a
Yeah. Oh, true believer, true believer, true believer. Yes, I'm a long way, true believer, true believer, true believer. Sometimes I feel just like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. I'm almost gone. Telling you sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Yes, I'm a long way, a long way from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, but I can hear my mother calling me. She's calling me. I can hear my mother's voice. I can hear my mother's voice, and she's calling me. But I can hear my mother. She's calling me. Oh, won't you come on home, child? Cross the waters. But I'm a long way from home. Well, sometimes you know I feel just like. Sometimes I feel just like I'm a motherless child, telling you sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Lord knows I'm a motherless child. Yeah. Sometimes I feel sometimes I feel a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. But you know I'm a long way from home, but I can hear my mother's voice calling me back. Sometimes come on home, come on home. I miss you, child, but I'm a long way. Sometimes I feel like from a home, a long way from
from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
Weren't they fantastic? Such skill and talent. We thank them, and in case you haven't looked at your schedule, we'll be seeing a little bit more of them in just a bit. So good morning again. This is for those of you in the back that came in late. You have just attended the 8th Annual Prevention Day sponsored by SAMHSA. If you're in the wrong room, you'll need to go down a couple of doors. We thank each and every one of you for being here. Each year we gather to celebrate what we've done, to get reacquainted with some of our friends from across the country, to get re-energized. This is the group of people you do not have to explain yourself to. These are your colleagues and practitioners who understand the hard year that you've had. This is the group you want to talk to. Find out what we can do better. Find out how are they dealing with some of the issues and blockage. I already had a conversation this morning with one of your colleagues in the field who's having some real difficult time getting their doctors in her community to listen to her. Well, I told her that the more we do it together and we collaborate, we certainly will become part of overall health and wellness in this country. I am pleased to share with you 5 voices of prevention together. We did this last year, and it came across so well. It's an opportunity for us to bring to you some of the successes that you are having. We'd love to be able to highlight all of you, and maybe if you stick with us for a number of years, we'll be able to do that. That should take only about 50 to 80 more years. The voices of prevention reflect the diversity and the richness of our efforts to prevent substance abuse and promote positive mental health. So let's begin. I'm looking for my director here. Can't find him. The first Voices of Prevention video we're going to show you is a program from the Strategic Prevention Framework called Prevention of Samoa. Luisa Tuitelalapaga is the presenter. This program incorporates the strengths and resources of the Samoan culture into prevention and intervention programs and strategies. It is an exciting first for the process of coalition development and culturally specific strategies. See where your strategic prevention framework initiatives are reflected in some of the work on this beautiful island. Let's watch the video together. That was short.
Taalofa, my name is Marilyn Tanwasa, and I hail from the beautiful village of Wailoa, and I am 14 years of age. We've learned a lot of good things from this program, and it has helped me with the way how I manage peer pressure and drugs. They've prevent ways to stay away from peer pressure and drugs. The most important thing I've learned is think smart before you start.
Palo is a very small island in the middle of nowhere. but it's a very beautiful place. It's majestic. The mountains, the greenery here, you cannot really compare it to a lot of other Pacific Island nations. The people are very humble people. They're friendly. You will find that it would be very easy for you to go throughout the island and meet people and talk with them. They're very religious people. You will find we have lots of churches throughout the islands. I think post-tsunami, our department in particular, we had a very significant role to play. We have a lot of behavioral health issues and substance abuse issues that we're trying to address. Working with SAMHSA, we're able to really build up a message of prevention and also work towards treatment.
One of the unique things about the SPIFSIG project is it actually takes the responsibilities of getting the project out into the communities in the hands of the community members.
We have 11 counties in American Samoa, and we've been able to mobilize and set up 12 community coalitions.
Staff for the project receives initial training, but then they would turn around and train community members.
In our culture, adults are always the one making decisions, and children really don't have a lot of say. And that's one thing that the project has brought to each of these communities, to have the children be able to share, because when they have problems, they're taught to bottle that in and not really express that and ask someone else for assistance.
I believe that this department is making huge strides towards our prevention work, and we have had so much community support. They're ready to listen to the message because they see the effects on our families and our children.
What's been wonderful to see is that we actually have the community members buy into the project.
From the young folks to the older, from leaders to church pastors.
The more programs we put out, we believe that's better for us to take them away from involving some outside activities that lead them into troubles.
Because we realize the need to really get the message to the young folks, to really understand that prevention is really key to a healthy and successful life going forward for them.
I'd ask if Louisa and her colleague could join me here on the podium. Each of our awardees are receiving a certificate of achievement and their own private copy of the video that we just had. This is a certificate of achievement for the Voices of Prevention in 2012 from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration at SAMHSA, who recognizes your SPIF Prevention for Samoa program for excellence in community to prevention and wellness. Congratulations, Louisa.
Talofa and good morning. Joining me on stage this morning is a colleague that has definitely helped to move the Prevention for Samoa project to the heights that it has reached today. And Tu'umafua Mayava is the program director for the Prevention for Samoa project. I'd also like to recognize the delegation from American Samoa who is here. It's a combination of community liaisons. We have community coalition members, as well as our evaluation and technical assistance team, we're very, very proud to have had an opportunity to share our home, especially our project, with you. And on behalf of the Department of Human and Social Services, our Director, Leilua Stevenson, we definitely would not be able to do any of the work that we have been able to accomplish through Prevention for Samoa had it not been partnerships with SAMHSA, and especially close relationships with Director Harding, our project officer, Damaris Richardson, and all of the CSAP support team that has guided our project every step of the way. We have been able to definitely reach out to our communities, and we're so proud of the progress that they've made and the commitment that they've demonstrated to protecting the future of our islands. And in closing, I'd like to say that prevention is not an occupation, it's definitely a calling, and it warms my heart to see so many people in this room who share that same calling, and I'm glad that we are working towards inspiring others to do what needs to be done to protect our communities and continue to improve the field of prevention. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving right along, our next video will be from the Northern Arapaho Tribal Indian Country Methamphetamine Initiative Project. This effort brings on board federal partners to address needs identified by the community. The goal is to replace a fragmented service delivery system with a client-centered, multi-agency service delivery system that is comprehensive, coordinated, and efficient. So please join me in watching their video.
My name is Donna Trosper. I'm the director of the Wind River Tribal Youth Program under the Northern Arapaho Tribe.
Prevention gives a person a chance to say, hey, I got different choices, I got different opportunities, not just one.
You have to figure out what happened in that kid's life or in that adult's life to better understand that person for who they are.
I can refuse drugs and alcohol, and I can, maintain being on a basketball team, football team, whatever it may be.
You do have to see what they're about in order to help them. The Wind River Reservation consists of 2 tribes. We house the Northern Arapaho Tribe, which is us, and the Eastern Shoshone Tribe, our neighbors.
When the kids come to us, it may not be a personal situation. They've been brought into it by family members, peers. They're just looking for a release.
The mission of our organization is to provide prevention methods to our community by using cultural methods.
I'm George Leonard, and I'm the Suicide Prevention Coordinator for Wind River Tribal Youth Program. And the sweat lodge that we have in the back here is, I guess you could say, my office.
Children aren't in control of what surrounds them. And knowing that they need help and being able to be there to offer it to them, I think that's what keeps me going.
We teach them how to be resilient, to be able to, help themselves.
You guys can look back 10 years and this will be a drug, alcohol-free community and say, hey, I had something to do with that.
Sometimes in life we make mistakes, but there's always that forgiveness. There's always that second chance, you know.
Anybody that wants to be here can be here, as long as they're willing to help themselves.
Could I ask Tolano to join me here at the podium? Tolano. You too have a certificate of achievement for the Northern Arapaho Tribal Indian Country Methamphetamines Initiative Project, and your copy, I guess it's not so rare anymore, your own copy of the video.
Good morning. It's an honor to be up here to receive this award amongst all the other grantees. First of all, I would like to thank everybody. It was said earlier that whoever is in prevention, this award is actually all of ours, everybody in this room today. It's we strive so hard to what we do, and it comes from the heart. You know, like we said, it's not a job anymore. It's something that we truly love, and we need more of it. I would like to recognize my staff, my family, somebody who's you know, the heart and soul of this award. Elizabeth Soloway, George Leonard, Donna Chosper, and Tubby Soloway. These are the individuals that put the heart of this award in. We would like to thank Wilma. Is Wilma out here today? I don't see her.
Oh, she's way in the back.
There she is. For believing in us and our tribe and our program. We share this award with a lot of individuals. For them allowing us to offer our services and to also believe in us, it means so much. Again, we have a lot of people that we're thankful, especially our program. You know, it means so much to us, and I would like to end with that note. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where do we go? Thank
you. Okay. Our next award goes to the Arizona State University's Campus Care Suicide Prevention Program under the direction of Karen Moses. This program to prevent suicide among college students brings peers and parents into the fold to help broaden awareness and enhance recognition of students in need of support. Clever use of social media and other digital tools make it a great example of a modern solution to a problem that has been around far too long. Please join me in watching their video.
Prevention is so important because we can reduce students' stress before they become so distressed that it's hard for them to imagine how to get out of that.
When you look at the evidence of what happens when people become suicidal or when people experience significant mental health issues, the fact of the matter is that at least half of those folks tend to not tell anybody about it. And if they do tell somebody, they're not inclined to talk to a professional as their first choice.
Campus Care is a prevention program that teaches students the skills they need to deal with stress, depression, and suicide, and what resources are available for them on campus.
We've really tried to educate them about how to stay ahead of stress.
to prevent stress from becoming distress, and how they can do that through preventive behaviors.
We find students dealing with stress all year long, actually. One of the highest risk groups here at ASU for any type of problem are freshman men and then freshman women as well.
So we go into classes that they already attend, and they're a captive audience, because you might imagine that a lot of times students don't think they need the information. Why do I need information about suicide? That's not going to happen to me or my friends, whatever. So we can go right into the classroom and make it real for them. SAMHSA has played a very important role in helping our program to succeed. We couldn't have done this without them.
We're not in this for the money. We're not in this for the prestige. We're in this because we really want to make a difference, because we have a dedication to improving the lives of students, and it's through this prevention focus that we're really going to reduce the incidence of suicide and suicidal ideation on our campus.
This is the beginning of the rest of their lives, and wherever they go, they're going to take what they learned here. And I think that for me, is an inspiration, because I think we influence not just the students, but we influence all of the people whose lives they touch in their future. My name is Karen Moses, and I'm the director of ASU Wellness.
Karen can come out and join us. Oh, on cue. Here's your copy. We present you with also a Certificate of Achievement for the Arizona State University Campus Care Suicide Prevention Program. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to say on behalf of the Campus Care team that we are very, very honored that among all of the many prevention programs that we were selected this year for the Voices Prevention Award. I have a great team, as you can see, because you got to see some of them in the video. And this opportunity that SAMHSA provided to us helped us to reach out across the campus in ways, across departments that work so oftentimes as silos, and to join together to create a prevention program that focuses across what we call the continuum of prevention, from primary prevention through when the students need to see counseling and to get more in-depth care. I would like to thank SAMHSA and the support team from SAMHSA, as well as the Suicide Prevention Resource Center that helped to hold us up when we needed help, when we needed advice, and that have really helped to make our program what it is today, and put us on the right foot towards sustaining really positive efforts at ASU. Thank you.
Okay, now getting a little bit closer to my neck of the woods. This award goes to the Gay Men's Health Crisis Center, Healthy Connections, based in Manhattan, New York. This is a crisis center, is the city's and the world's first and leading provider of HIV/AIDS prevention and care, reaching out to gay and questioning youth and young adults. The target is young black males ages 12 to 24 who are at risk for substance abuse, HIV infection, and suicide. As you will see in a moment, the program finds at-risk youth where they are, on their own turf, at bars, at clubs, in parks. And they start a conversation with them, which continues through their relationship. Please join me in watching this video.
My name is Janet Weinberg. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Gay Men's Health Crisis, GMHC, and we're located in New York.
What are some of the events or circumstances that led you to our program?
Well, I know for me, I was going through a lot of issues at the time, and my brother told me about GMHC, and I just kind of found a little home here.
The mission of GMHC is very simple. GMHC is here to fight the AIDS epidemic and uplift the lives of all affected by HIV.
And because the epidemic has changed, so has the work of the agency. And happily, so has the funders and so has the world in understanding that prevention and HIV is not one population, but many populations.
HIV is all about behavioral change. And so with SAMHSA's support, we're able to do outreach to the most disparate populations that truly need support in behavioral change.
I think the strongest collaboration between GMHC and the SAMHSA CSAP program has been able to reach populations of young men of color that we struggled with for years to reach.
Could you name a couple of positive impacts in your life as a result of this program?
OBB has helped me to be a better person, to have actually safer sex and know what to do when I'm in a situation that I don't want to be in. Another impact is that I'm in a better place just all around in my life, knowing how to come out to my family and my friends and getting them to accept me for who I am.
This space is a unique space because it allows these young people to feel validated, to feel heard, to feel connected in a way that they aren't in any other part of their lives.
We had the holiday party for our Outstanding Beautiful Brothers program, which is part of the CSAP unit and the work that we do. And as I sat there, I looked around and I saw these young men and I thought, they have a sense of community here at GMHC. And I wondered, where would they be if it wasn't for GMHC and if it wasn't for the SAMHSA CSAP program?
Okay, last question. Name one word that keeps you inspired to keep coming to this program.
Support.
Prevention.
Love. Knowledge.
And my word would be brotherhood.
If I could have Jeff join us to the podium. Jeff, here's your certificate of achievement for the Gay Men's Health Crisis Center, Healthy Connections. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Francis, and thank you, everyone. It's a true honor, and as the other awardees said, we may be getting the award today at GMHC, but really everyone in this room deserves an award because we show up every day, we're there doing the work. You know, when they said that we were going to be honored and said, you know, it's the day of the Super Bowl, you'll be traveling, I said, with a gay men's health crisis, not an issue. Little did I know that New York went all the way. Anyway, great. Really, I want to thank SAMHSA and Francis and our incredible project officer, Judith Ellis, and really the support Oh, there's Judith. Love you. I mean, Judith is really incredible, and Judith was a real driving force in helping us sustain and build the program, the incredible support of SAMHSA for us to take the program in the direction that we needed to. And I also want to acknowledge not only the staff that are here, but we were able to bring the participants that you saw in the video. And I would love if throughout today you see them. So I just want to have them stand up if I could. Solomon, Raymond, Christian, Karan. And the staff who lead them is Amor, and then Daniel Williams, who was a participant, who then now is part of the GMHC staff, always building resiliency and building our clients. We have many clients that have gone on to become GMHC staff. And, you know, prevention isn't just substance use. It isn't HIV. At GMHC, we also believe education is prevention. Employment is prevention. Because we can give someone all the skills, but until they feel good about themselves, until they believe in themselves, we struggle. So we believe in really bringing people from the inside. And, you know, I was very moved by also Karen's video around suicide prevention. Rates of suicide decrease when people's families accept their gay and lesbian children, and in schools when there are gay and lesbian alliances. Not only does suicide go down, but rates of HIV also go down. And I also would just want to end by saying that it's just fascinating to me that so much of this work is not about self-improvement, but self-acceptance. And I think the more we can just be with these men and women that we have the privilege, because it certainly feels like a privilege to work with and make that impact, the more we get to move ahead our individual agendas and the agenda of SAMHSA. So with that, I say thank you to all of you for your great work, and thank you to Francis, Judith, and everyone at SAMHSA. Thank you.
Okay, sadly, our last video to share is the Johnson City, Tennessee Safe Schools, Healthy Students Project. This morning's last video shows how schools and communities can work together and have to work together to promote prevention. Law enforcement, local mental health authorities, and juvenile justice officials collaborate to provide a safe haven for learning, as well as to prevent violence and alcohol and drug use. Please join me while we watch our last video of this morning.
Every child has multiple opportunities in life to choose a lot of different routes that they may take, a lot of different tracks, a lot of different paths. And it's really up to us, when we think about prevention, to make sure that we've provided them with the support system, the care, and the love to make those right decisions. Well, I think my personal experience is probably the single most important part of why I've chosen to do what I have done. Being a child that grew up in poverty, a child that grew up homeless, I just knew how important it was to make sure that we provided these services for young people. The mission of our Heroes organization is really twofold. It's to provide safety and security for our student bodies and for all of our families in Johnson City. And it's also to do a lot of preventative work, specifically in the mental health field. We've essentially provided a mental health center at every school. We have daily safety checks by our SROs. I have 2 police officers. I have a specialized probation officer. I have 15 counselors, several school personnel that really spend their day thinking every single day about how they can make a difference in kids' lives. It's been a great feeling as somebody who's come from a broken home, as somebody who's come from a counseling perspective, to look at it from a large perspective and see all the differences that we can make. I was one of those children that the right step here, the wrong step there, I could have ended up in the wrong path. And if it wasn't for people that had provided me some additional support, people that helped me and directed me onto the right track, it's hard to tell where I would have ended up. I believe every single day we make a difference with the Heroes program. I believe every single day there's somebody's life that has changed. We may not always see it, but I know it's there. My name is Dr. Greg Wallace. I am the Project Director for the Heroes program for Johnson City Schools.
The benefits of being last, so we didn't have to call your name. Greg, this is your Certificate of Achievement for the Johnson City Safe Schools, Healthy Students Initiatives, the Heroes Initiative. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. It is honestly an honor to be here today. And on behalf of the almost 1,000 employees, from teachers all the way to custodians in Johnson City Schools and our initiative, we are honored to accept this award. We're also honored on behalf of the 7,500 students that we serve every single day. In Johnson City, we believe that the two most important things that you can have in an effective program are leadership, and we're blessed to have that through our national organization with SAMHSA, a great FPO, and Patrick Weld. We're glad to have that. And then also locally, we are very honored and pleased to have folks that believe in our program, that support it every single day. I'm honored to have our Director of Schools, Dr. Richard Bales, who has come with us in support of this program, and we are very honored to have him this morning. I'd also like to say, just in conclusion, and having a brief opportunity to talk to some of the award winners, we all know where the real work is done. And the second most important thing is the people that do the work. The folks that did this video, they did a wonderful job making us look good. And at the end of the day, the gentleman said, and he had spoken to lots of folks, and he said, you know, I'm really glad that there's people out there like you all. And I would say to each and every one of you, I'm very glad that there's people like you out there doing the work of everyone that needs you. Thank you, and I hope you have a great conference.
So as Greg makes his way back to his chair, let's do one more round of applause for all of our award recipients. Right before the break, as we switch rooms in a little while, if all the recipients could just stay behind, meet us up in the front, we'll take one group picture for you. Now I have the great pleasure of introducing you to my colleagues at SAMHSA. I'm heard that there is very little honor that could top being able to be among your peers when presenting messages and working together through trying times of both economic and pushing the envelope of programming to help bring health and wellness through our country. I have brought 3 of my center director colleagues with us today. They're all 3 here, if they could make it their way to the stage. I'm running out of words. So that we can help show all the work that SAMHSA is doing at all of the 4 centers here in SAMHSA, to show you a little bit of an insight in our little community here in Washington. In order, so I won't take up any of their time, because I've not given them enough time that they would like. It will be Dr. Peter Delaney will go first, who is the Director for the Center of Behavioral Health Statistics and Quality. Paolo Del Vecchio will go second, who is the Acting Director for the Center of Mental Health Services. And Dr. Wesley Clark, known to most of us in the room, will bring up the rear of this program for our colleagues here from the center, the director for the Center of Substance Abuse Treatment. So without further ado, if I could ask Peter to come.
Hi, good morning. Boy, with this big a room, it should have sounded a lot better. Let's try it again. Good morning. Good morning. I learned that about 10 years ago in a TC meeting. I've never stopped doing it to people. Sorry. Well, I'm really happy to be here and to be part of this process. As Fran said, I'm the director for the Center for Behavioral Health Statistics and Quality, or we like to call it the BISCUIT, CBISC, or the Q. We're still not settled on where we're going to go, which just lets you know that you should be really careful when you work in the government because acronyms count. So what we do, and I could have thrown a bunch of slides up for you to look at, but we just do numbers. So what I want to say is what we're charged with is helping prevention make its case. And working with Fran over the last couple of years, we've been looking at new ways to get information out, to identify gaps in what we know and in filling those gaps and trying to help everybody get data where they need it, when they need it, to figure out how they can make their case for prevention. I do think that what's down on the bottom of SAMHSA's logo in different places, behavioral health is health, prevention works, treatment is effective, and recovery is happening. Well, I screwed up that last one, but recovery does occur. And part of that is making the case with data. That's what we're about, and we make that pledge to continue to do that with you every day. And we're working on new ways to figure out how to collect data, how to use data, and how to put it out in ways that everybody can use it. So that's what we're about. We look forward to a good prevention day with you, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And welcome to SAMHSA's Prevention Day and CADCA's 22nd National Leadership Forum. I want to start by thanking each and every one of you for the work that you do, most importantly in communities across this country. We already talked a little bit about mentioning the game last night, and my congratulations to our New York folks. And condolences to any Patriots fans in the audience. I can empathize, given I'm a lifelong Eagles fan, so we have yet to see a Super Bowl champion yet. There's always next year. I do want to say a moment here about another game, and that's called the Good Behavior Game. This is one of the SAMHSA's efforts around prevention and around our shared agenda of looking at how we can do a better job of preventing mental illnesses and addictions. This program, the Good Behavior Game, just completed its first year. It has outcomes that show that it both prevents mental illnesses and addictions. We fund school districts across the country to implement this evidence-based prevention program, a universal classroom intervention implemented usually by first and second grade teachers. It has years of research that says students whose teachers are well-trained to use this effort with fidelity do better in later years in middle school and high school. These children have lower rates of illicit drug use, lower rates of mental illnesses, and lower rates of suicidal ideation. We can, using evidence-based practices, create safe schools and healthy students. My staff thought it would be kind of cute to have a few talking points in a kind of tweet format. And I don't know if this will work verbally rather than through text format. But these are kind of tweets in advance of some of the workshops later today. First, SAMHSA's National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is there for help. Call 1-800-273-TALK, Lifeline partnering with Facebook. 2, trauma leads to addictions and mental illnesses. We can heal from and prevent trauma. Workshop at 1:45. Stand up to bullies. Hear about how we can prevent and address cyberbullying. Check out the workshop today or go to stopbullying.gov. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, people with addictions and mental illnesses die decades earlier than the general public. learn about wellness and heart health at the workshop today. Let me close after all these plugs with just a personal note. As a number of you know, I identify as a person in recovery from addictions as well as mental illness. And I want to say that the work that you do to prevent these conditions from occurring in the first place is all about people's lives. If there were prevention efforts in the community where I lived, the amount of suffering and pain that myself and my family went through would not have been. So thank you enough. I can't say enough for the work that you do.
Well, since I'm doing cleanup, I'm Wesley Clark. I am the director of the Center for Substance Abuse Treatment, and it's quite a pleasure to be here once again. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank Fran Harding and her team for the leadership that they've offered in coordinating this, and our dean, who was there, who's vanished, but, oh, there he is, for offering us another opportunity to join together. I'd like to start off with a quote from the president who says, "As we work to reduce substance abuse and the great damage it causes in our communities, we will make our country stronger and our people healthier and safer." And you heard Paulo talk about that. That's an important theme. Kathleen Sebelius says at its very core, our work today is about improving lives and ensuring peace of mind. It's about getting the right care to the right person at the right time, each and every time. And this is the nexus between prevention and treatment. And we saw it in the videos as people recognize the continuum. My immediate boss, Pam Hyde, who Mirtha Beadle mentioned, it states that in 2011 and beyond, SAMHSA will work to improve understanding about mental and substance use disorders, promote emotional health and the prevention of substance abuse and mental illness, increase access to effective treatment, and support recovery. I'd like to talk a little more about our faith initiative because it's an integral part of community values, regardless how one pursues faith. Now, we expanded our faith efforts in 2010. We're working with the White House in order to promote the issue of the involvement of faith and community-based organizations. We have been innovative to ensure that consumers and community-based organizations have the most progressive information, tools, and models to implement interfaith and community partnerships to support recovery. We've convened a community leadership and interfaith summit in 2011, and we've had 150 diverse leaders of community and faith-based organizations from 10 economically distressed communities to focus on developing community partnerships to address the behavioral health and recovery support needs of consumers and to learn about SAMHSA's strategic initiatives and other federal partners' efforts. Outgrowth of this is we've got 10 community partnership teams to address behavioral health and recovery needs of the community. It's important for us to keep in mind that there are a number of community partnerships, including community coalitions, that need to operate together, particularly in these times when resources are short. We've convened these leaders, members of 15 U.S. communities for a groundbreaking meeting when we had community leaders and interfaith partnership summits stimulating dialogue. And of the original 15 teams, 11 remain active, and that notion is important. When resources are short, sometimes our coalitions and our community partnerships dissolve. We need to keep that in mind. We heard other people on the videos. Sometimes it's difficult to keep these things together. So this meeting is very important because I want you to use, over the next day or so, I want you to use the spirit of the meeting to charge your batteries. It's an important thing for you to keep in mind. We cannot afford to burn out. And the work that you do is terribly important. We've had in our coalitions with 12 to 40 leaders representing community and faith organizations, and they're focusing on prevention, behavioral health, community-based organizations, providing housing, food, shelter, and among other services. We've got a second group of community-based organizations that have come together to develop infrastructures. Here's a couple examples. In Atlanta, Georgia, we have the Community Health Interface Partnership that's focusing on integration of behavioral health into primary health care and mental health first aid. In Birmingham, Alabama, we have the Birmingham Recovery Coalition that's focusing on life recovery services and a collaboration and capacity building among providers and stakeholders. In Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, we have the Pennsylvania Connect Services, which was formed in 2011. The initial planning involves a focus on military families and other underserved individuals with prevention, intervention, and recovery services. Houston, Texas, the Greater Houston Coalition for Healthy Futures. They're preparing a healthcare-related informational material for community use. You'll hear about the Affordable Care Act later today. It's an important thing for us to keep in mind that prevention is a part of the larger health issues. And it's important that coalitions, whether it's community coalitions associated with CADCA or other coalitions associated with the faith community, to address the issue of health care reform. We have two other initiatives at CSAT that I'd like to emphasize very briefly. One is the screening, brief intervention, and referral to treatment. When it's clear that somebody is dabbling, shall we say, in drugs or having a problem with alcohol, that needs to be assessed. And that was one of the things that you saw in the videos. SBIRT is a comprehensive integrated public health approach to the delivery of early intervention and treatment services for people with substance use disorders. We involve primary care centers, hospital emergency rooms, trauma centers, community settings. We also involve schools in this effort. The idea is you can also offer brief intervention. People respond to brief intervention when they are drinking a little too much or using things that they shouldn't use. We heard from the videos there are options. Behavioral health screening is an important part of the new health reform laws, particularly as it refers to health information technology. Early screening is included in the Affordable Care Act. You'll hear again about that, but the key issue is that that's an important initiative. We also have an Access to Recovery initiative. It's a competitive discretionary grant program, and the idea is to use vouchers for clients to purchase substance abuse clinical treatment and recovery support services. We're trying to expand capacity, support client choice, and increase the array of faith-based and community-based providers for clinical treatment and recovery support services. And as I wind down, I want to stress the importance of Recovery Month. In September, we want to make sure that people understand the nexus between prevention and recovery. We want to give people hope. Recovery Month promotes the societal benefits of treatment for substance use and mental disorders. It celebrates people in recovery, lauds the contributions for treatment service providers, and promotes the message that recovery is possible. I want to direct you to our website, and please participate in Recovery Month. September is Recovery Month. I'd like to wind down by reminding people that behavioral health is essential to health, that prevention works. What happens for prevention? What? What? It works. Treatment is what? Effective. And people do what? Recover. Thank you very much.
Wow. It's a side of Dr. Clark I don't get to see a lot. So you have all embraced him to help him bring the message. I just want to thank my colleagues, Dr. Delaney, Palo, and Dr. Clark. Let's give them a round of applause for being here. So that's our team. We are the people back in SAMHSA, along with our office directors and all of the colleagues that you see here today and that are back in One Choke Cherry, along with our 10 new regional administrators. We have people next to you, near your homes now, or closer than Washington for some of you, that are also working with us. And I think Jean is sitting somewhere if she could stand. She's representing all of them. She's got a big job today. Region 3, our new regional administrator, you've been on the job, what, a couple of months? We are throwing her into all the programming very quickly. I want to thank all of you before we get too far along here and forget. for taking the time out of your schedules during this very difficult time, for the travel that some of you have. Although, I have to say, can't listen to too many excuses this year. No snow. It's still a little cold, but there is absolutely no snow. Okay, so all of you that went and did whatever one does to change the weather from your perspective, no snow? Come on. I'm from New York. I wanted a little snow. But all of you have traveled. I know it's a little chilly for some of you, especially some of our southern friends, our friends from the Pacific jurisdictions and some people on the West Coast. And I am not going to apologize for that because at least I can close my eyes and think that there is mounds of snow outside the door. I also want to thank CADCA. Without CADCA having this forum and the partnership and collaboration that we have had with CADCA and with General Dean and all his wonderful staff that you will be working with and seeing throughout the day, this could not be possible. So we want to thank them right now, if you'll help. So as I mentioned before, today is the day that we talk to our colleagues about the work that we do. We brag about the successes we've had. We struggle with our weaknesses and some of the hard parts about our job. And most importantly, what I like the most is we reunite and we see old friends, we make new friends, and we walk out of here with the synergy that might have been lacking 2 days ago. The synergy of remembering that although our days are hard and we don't always see the results very quickly, we know we are making a difference. And the more I can borrow and steal from you, the better we all will become. Today is about collaboration. I talk about collaboration all of the time because we know without it, we will not get where we want to go. We have tremendous successes in individual programming. We need to take those successes and multiply them. We need to be able to spread out beyond the boundaries of prevention of substance abuse and mental health disorders. This is a difficult task for us to do, but our colleagues before us have done it, haven't they? There was a time when people did not think that smoking was harmless. There was a time when secondhand smoke was just something that was rumored. There was a time when HIV/AIDS was hopeless and helpless and a certificate for an early death. There was a time when cancer was not something that we could look to, that there was a future afterwards. We are now curing people with stage 4 cancer. That to me is amazing, and it was done with collaboration. It's an ambitious goal, but it's one that we will get there. We're already a little further along than we were last year. We must work together in collaboration with ourselves and our partners, both traditional and non-traditional, and not get discouraged while doing it. Because once one door closes, another one always opens, doesn't it? One of the best things for me to be here is to listen to those little baby steps that we have all achieved, and some of you are leaping and not taking steps anymore. This year's theme also happens to be prevention and action, investing in the future. Well, prevention and action is obvious from the group and the energy that I'm feeling for here today. We will invest in our future. We used to say we invested in our youth. We certainly do, especially if you are a parent, a teacher, a guardian, a grandparent, a legal guardian, or just someone that takes an interest in a child. But we now have to take that investment and make an investment in our country's health and wellness together. That's why we talk about a behavioral health agenda. As Dr. Clark described, that's substance abuse and mental health disorders working side by side. As I stated last year, we continue to be strong with the message that we must work side side by side. That does not mean that we are going to borrow from the other side and not pay back. It doesn't mean I'm going to rob from substance abuse and give mental health, or mental health to give to substance abuse. We cannot afford that. We have too much to do, and we'll do it together because we're working with similar and sometimes the same families, same individuals, same schools, same communities, same businesses, same places of worship. We are all in this game for health and wellness. Like many of you, I have worked in the prevention field for a very long time. Too long sometimes. And I'm committed to the science, and something I think Paolo and both Mirtha spoke about. It's the passion of being in this business. We are all connected in this business. That's what is the most attractive feature that we all have. This is not just a job. Somehow we have connections to substance abuse and mental health disorders. I am proud to lead the SAMHSA Strategic Initiative for Prevention of Substance Abuse and Mental Illness, which focuses, one more time, and you'll be able to recite that also, like you recited, behavioral health is essential to health. What does prevention focus on for SAMHSA? It focuses on creating communities where individuals, families, schools, places of worship, organizations, and workplaces take action to promote emotional health. Remember, emotional health, the glue that's bringing our fields together. Reduce the likelihood of mental illness, substance abuse, including tobacco and suicide. We continue to try to do it all. Without doing this, we will not reach in this country the level of health and wellness that we are craving. At the same time, let me issue a cautionary note. We can say prevention, prevention, prevention until we have no breath left in our lungs. But for everyone in our communities to embrace prevention, we must help them understand how to internalize that message. We must still help people understand what prevention is. I'm so glad Dr. Clark mentioned the difference between prevention and recovery. There is prevention in recovery, but prevention is not recovery, correct? Prevention supports recovery. It surrounds recovery. We are a part of it, and it is a part of us. This is a system. Recovery is not a program, it's a process. And prevention is a process that's marching right along with it. I always try to share some of the statistics. Now, if I can figure out how to work this. It did. The numbers make a stronger statement. They are very helpful because they provide a powerful motivator for getting people involved and getting their attention. The numbers are also personal. All of us know someone who is suffering or who is happily living with an addiction or mental health disorder of some sort or kind. Get to know the data. Don't be afraid of it. Use it more often. Prevention is based in science. We need to help people understand the science. We need to help our decision makers and our policy makers understand how these numbers can no longer be a part of our lives. By 2020, here's some of the numbers that I seem to get the best reaction from people because they're the most surprised. By 2020, mental health and substance use disorders will surpass all physical diseases as the major cause of disability worldwide. Now, if that doesn't get someone's attention, I'm almost out of ideas. Although you don't really believe that, do you? Each year, approximately 5,000 youth under the age of 21 die as the result of underage drinking. It was almost that much when I was working in underage drinking efforts for the state of New York. We have got to change this number, and we can do it in this room by planning to work harder together and to collaborate with criminal justice and our drug courts and all the other programs that we are working with. More than 34,000 Americans die every year as the result of suicide. And if you're reading along with me, you can see that that means it's 1 in every 15 minutes. Think about that while you're walking the halls of this beautiful structure that we're in. Among persons aged 12 and older who use prescription pain relievers non-medically in the past 12 months, 55.9% got them from a friend or a relative. Hey, this is your low-hanging fruit. We know the statistics are telling it that they're getting the drugs from a friend or a relative, then this is pure prevention, plain and simple. We need to get the messages out to parents who are trying to be good parents and help their children when they're in pain. Or when a college roommate sees their roommate in pain or the person down the hall, they're going to run to them with their drugs in their hand. Hey, this worked for me. We need to let people, are these bad people? No. Are they selling it for a profit? No. They're being good neighbors, good family members, good roommates, and they think they are trying to help. Everyone is trying to help, but unfortunately, they don't have the statistics and the data and the knowledge that we're going to bring to them. As been mentioned, suicide is the third leading cause of death among 15 to 24-year-olds. How sad is that? We have got to work together. We are all too familiar with the problems of suicide among young people. More than 4,000 youth and young adults die by suicide each year. But do you want to know something more shocking than that? For every one who has died by suicide, there is an estimated number of 100 to 200 attempts that are made. And that's a low number because we've also learned that many people do not talk about it. This is one of the slides I tried to show when I tried to help people understand why SAMHSA is in the behavioral health umbrella. And this is a slide, I always get their names done. In 2010, SAMHSA observed National Suicide Prevention Week. They hosted a display of these knapsacks sponsored by Active Minds. Each one of these knapsacks, totaling 1,100, are representing 1,100 college students that died by suicide that year. Striking, isn't it? These are the kind of visuals that we have all learned from you to use. You have taught us so much in SAMHSA how to proceed with prevention. SAMHSA's role is to try to bring you the best of the science, the most current data. Your job is to continue to push us harder, to ask for more data. Dr. Delaney is working on a community-based data system. We need this so desperately, but we need to hear from you that you want it as well. So as we go forward, our friends, our family, our neighbors, everyone is important in the prevention messaging. But if you look at this slide, which I stole from my administrator, you can see that America's a little confused of exactly what they're thinking. 1 in 5 Americans say that they would think less of a friend or a relative if they discovered that that person is in recovery from addiction. Slightly more people, 30%, say they would think less of a person that had a current active condition. Yet 2/3 of Americans believe that addiction is preventable. Think about these statistics for a bit. 75% of Americans believe that recovery from addictions is possible. We are a confused country around substance abuse and mental health. It is also true for mental illness. A little more than half, 54% of young adults who know someone with a mental illness believes that treatment and support can help those people live absolutely normal lives. We need to continue the work that we do and find a way to get out there. I'm so happy of all the social media and the programs that we run into. That message gets out. And Paolo might have just coined a different way of doing it. If you're not expert in tweeting, well, then just stand up and read about it. I may follow that, actually, Paolo. Prevention works across the lifespan in various settings. SAMHSA is working for young people. That is the area of most risks. So even though we know it works across the lifespan, For SAMHSA's work over the next few years, our focus is on youth. For example, one problem we are confronted with is bullying, and it's growing. And we need a team effort to address it. Bullying is a widespread and serious problem that can happen anywhere and cause lasting harm, and in the worst cases, it may also lead to suicide. We also know bullying is connected with long-time trauma, low self-esteem, and substance abuse along the way. In response to a number of high-profile incidents last year, our President Obama asked federal agencies to develop a comprehensive website resource to empower all stakeholders to learn about this critical issue, and again, to give you tools that you can use in your communities. In March of 2011, the website stopbullying.gov went live, and since then, we've had more than 1 million visitors to that website. It shows you that it permeates throughout our country. Launching in 2012, the newly redesigned site will feature many new tools for kids, parents, and educators. We're trying to draw the entire family within and that surrounds a young person to this issue. So bullying at any level isn't fair. The only people we tend to leave out when we talk about bullying are any of you that have had the sad experience of putting your child on the school bus. The school bus could be the worst form of transportation that we have for young people learning the lessons of life, is what I'm told. The team effort between the White House, the U.S. Departments of Education and Justice, and SAMHSA, and other agencies and offices within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services are a great example of collaboration at our level. We are trying to do the collaborative efforts that you are doing in your communities. We continue to learn from you. And we're also in the workplace, where Americans spend as much time or more time than they do with their families. Only in America, by the way, that we spend more time. For that reason, the workplace provides an excellent opportunity for prevention at a large scale. And let me share with you some of the things that SAMHSA is doing in the workplace. SAMHSA manages one of the largest public health prevention programs in the country. I bet you didn't know that. And it is very tangible effects. The program affects public safety of every person in the United States who steps outside of their home. How did you get here today? Did you take mass transit? Did you fly? Did you drive, ride buses, or trains? SAMHSA sets the standards for federal workplace drug testing. And that office happens to reside in the Center of Substance Abuse Prevention, but it doesn't always get talked about. Our aim is discouraging drug use among federal employees. These standards are adopted by federal agencies and regulatory industry. The program directly affects 400,000 federal employees that are tested for drug use, as well as more than 12 million workers in federal industries. To date, empirical evidence says that this effort in drug testing is working. There has been a steady decline in illicit drug use since this program was started. You can find information on these and other SAMHSA prevention activities and resources in the packets that you received today. These and many other efforts led by all of you in this room are worthy programs and are especially important now that we are looking at having to bring together our country for nation's health. Now is the time to bring prevention efforts like these to the forefront. Health reform gives us an incredibly opportunity. Why? Because primary care can and should encompass prevention in all contexts, including behavioral health. We have a big job to do to help our health partners see where we fit. As we are getting closer to 2014, where 32 million Americans will become eligible for health insurance coverage, of those, 6 to 10 million of them will have a mental health or a substance use disorder. Think about that. That's huge. Think about the families and the schools and the communities that touch all of these individuals. We certainly are going to have our job cut out for us. Across care, we're changing dramatically. We now, young adults up to the age of 26 can now be covered on their parents' health insurance. Any of you that have children that are of this age, what a wonderful benefit that we have been given. In many cases, you can get preventative services for free. But as I've told you before, do not expect those preventive services to always include substance abuse and mental health services. We need to work harder and longer and faster, if you can believe that, to help to get the message out that we connect with overall health. We are a part of general health. Prevention is the rising star in the national strategies. We talked about this a little bit last year. We have the 2011 National Drug Control Strategy, and where's prevention? In the first chapter. We have the SAMHSA's Leading Change Strategic Plan document. Where is prevention? First strategy. We have the National Prevention Strategy. Where's prevention? Throughout the entire document. It's a document from our secretary that has all prevention connections to all chronic diseases. We are in there. We're in there in mental health capacity, in substance abuse capacity, and tobacco. We are definitely leading some of the change. SAMHSA is looking forward to their first National Prevention Week, and we want all of you to be a part of that. This week is May 20th through the 26th, 2012. It's another exciting opportunity for us to work together, most likely virtually, which we're all becoming accustomed to. Through National Prevention Week, we are asking to highlight that everyone can, should, and must play a role in prevention depending upon where you sit or stand or work or wander. It just takes making small changes to promote a healthy lifestyle, and it starts at home. There are many possibilities, but the end goal is the same. Promote the important prevention work you do along with the messages and resources that we can provide you to help. You've heard a lot about social media. This afternoon, ending this conference, we'll have probably the most energetic social media conversation. Do not miss it. It is definitely going to be an inspiring, uplifting place where most of you probably know most of what he's talking about. We must continue to stay focused. The other slide I stole from our administrator. I use it a little differently than she, because in this world of changing environment and confusing messages that are coming from local, state, community, and most definitely federal, we do not want you to lose focus on the work that you do. If you are here working on a substance abuse community-led program for prevention, continue to do that. We need your work. We are not asking you to stop this work. You must stay focused on the area of your most concern and most skilled. But we also need for you to stay focused on an outsider view of where do you fit in the overall picture of behavioral health. Don't be afraid of it. I've already heard stories across the year of my traveling. Although traveling is getting shorter, conversations on the phone and through video are increasing. You are all doing great work in bringing together behavioral health and breathing life into it. Now I must ask to do another challenge. While you're staying focused on working in mental health disorder prevention, substance abuse prevention, or on overall, maybe someone's in the room and your job is cancer prevention, we must now ask you, while you're continuing to do this work, to begin to work with the person next to you. Meet someone in the room that is doing work that you know you can connect with. We must get to general health. We must help people understand that behavioral health is certainly a part of primary care. We must stay focused and at the same time begin to share our successes and not be afraid to try something new. Prevention Day offers us a great opportunity to renew our old friendships and meet new colleagues. So expand your prevention circle while you're here. We are going to provide you ample time to share and to talk to one another. Oops. So before I end, I do have a little infomercial for you. They keep throwing all these little new things at me. SAMHSA is going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary this year, or we guess we are already celebrating. It started this year. You'll hear a lot about this throughout the year. We're doing a lot of activities both within SAMHSA and our employees and outside. Bring us and tell us your stories of your relationship with SAMHSA 20 years ago. Haven't been in the field 20 years? Show us and bring your stories of success for the 1 year, or the 5 years, or the 10 years. In prevention, my fear is our stories, our pictures are going to look different, but our stories are very much the same, aren't they? This will hopefully inspire us to continue the work that we're doing, because we do have a heavy lift in changing the behavior, because that's the game we're in, behavior change. All of you know that. All of you work every day to support that. Our hat is off. SAMHSA thanks you for all of the work, getting up every day to do that hard struggle, the job that you love. The job that we don't even often see the successes of what we do. SAMHSA is going to work very hard this year to show you how you can measure those intermediate steps of success. So we will have data in a year to show people that what you do is working. We will begin to connect your data and connect your successes across the country. We will be pushing you to work with new partners. We will be helping you learn how to work with someone you've never even sat at a table with. I asked you last year to invite yourself to the table and not to be invited. So many of you have done that in ways that I couldn't even believe. I ask you again this year to continue that work. Now what I want to hear about the work. Send us your successes. Pressure SAMHSA a little bit more. God knows we could use a little. We have no pressure whatsoever. We want to work for you. We want to refine. We want to be able to give you challenges that you can succeed in. We need to hear from you about your successes and your struggles and your challenges. I know it's something we're not supposed to say, but SAMHSA is a federal agency, and we are definitely here to help you from our point of view. Thank you very much. Now, before we break, I would like to just ask that you give us just one more moment to lift your spirits back with another dance from the Duke Ellington Ensemble.
I'm going to pull you this way. I'm sorry.
they're so disciplined. I was got to have them come out and we could say thank you one more time. Weren't they great? So, in ending, let us make together the most of the opportunity today while you're here and throughout the entire week. That's one of the best things about being a part of the CADCA Symposium. Have a wonderful day. Learn something a little bit new. Go to all the workshops that we have. Our work is very different in some places, but we're all talking about the same thing. We're going to do a quick transition for you and asking you to go to, I don't see the name of the room. Somebody tell me. Maryland Ballroom, to be able to hear our next speaker, who you will not be disappointed with. Thank you all very, very much, and we'll see you later today.